guys, the Firebird is here. Second trailer is out and in the books. I just did my reaction video to it. If it gets past the copyright, it's probably uploaded by now. So in this video, I'm just gonna go over the trailer itself, the breakdown, the things that, you know, went past me doing the reaction, things you might have missed, things that I definitely missed during my first time viewing it. So we're gonna start together. And also, since it's hype season and trailer season, I'm gonna do that on YouTuber stuff, and I'm gonna tell you guys that I'm very close to 100,000 subscribers. As I mentioned, will we reach 100,000 subscribers before Rush of the Beast gets released? Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But try and help me out anyway as much as you can. Anyways, let's jump in, shall we? So trailer begins with Optimus Primal and Aero Racer in Peru. There's nothing like too to say about this scene. It's just that we got a close-up look of the Maximals, you know, together, which is pretty cool. Aero Racer doesn't transform at all in this trailer, which I wanna say right off the bat, there are rumors that Aero Racer will not transform into the movie. Maybe because NPC doesn't have enough, you know, budget to add an Aero Racer model. Maybe they're out of time. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that may or may not be true. But so far, it's looking more and more like Aero Racer will not transform at all in this movie. Now, we then also get another shot of all the Maximals. We got Rhinox and Cheetor following Primal, and Aero Racer supposedly not too far behind. This seems to be around relatively the same area as in the first trailer, where Optimus Prime first interacts with Optimus Primal. If you look closely before the shot ends, you can see some feet, you know, in front of Cheetor and Rhinox, and they're colored blue. This is either Mirage or Optimus Prime, so this scene does take place right after the whole confrontation the Maximals have with the Autobots. And we even have a little bit more info on this scene thanks to Studio Series. If you look at the Studio Series background for Cheetor and a few other characters like Aero Racer, you can see that the background is this jungle with rocks and like a small river. This is quote-unquote the jungle discovery scene. So my guess is that this takes place right after that confrontation with the Autobots, or maybe even later or sooner. We don't know just yet. Here we have our shot of New York where the movie's gonna be taking place. Apparently, the Terrorcons have some kind of weird weather manipulation type of effect on the globe. In the first trailer, when they first showed up, we see that, you know, the lighting around the city was acting kind of strange. People kind of interpret that as being, you know, the fault of Scourge. Maybe he's doing a thing with the weather. But now we know that it's actually Unicron, the one who's like, you know, kind of causing this effect on the Earth. We don't know why exactly, or, you know, the whole logistics of it. We do know that this time around Unicron is not the Earth, it's its own entity, which it's a nice change of pace, because like the whole Unicron is the Earth and got a bit tired after a while. Now in here we see Optimus Prime walking through this, you know, small, you know, bus station type of place. And there's a lot of like this, you know, New York buses here and there. Now we know that actually one of those is transit. While we don't exactly see which one is it, this could just be for the most part random vehicles. Transit is one of the Terrorcons as of now, according to Lorenzo Di Buenaventura, the producer of the film, who's gonna be one of our main antagonists. He's probably gonna get killed off early on, which is kind of a shame, because then that means the movie's probably gonna suck, because Transit's literally the best character ever created for the movies. So much like in Revenge of the Fallen, Optimus is probably gonna have a small fight with Transit early on, before dispatching on him and, you know, the rest focusing on our own, you know, our course Terrorcons. We hear rumors that Transit had been cut, but then we hear rumors that he might actually be in the movie. The whole Transit situation is still a bit of a mess, but it's nice to see that even if he's gone, we'll still at least see some, you know, nods to Transit or what could have been. Hopefully he's still in the movie though. We get a close-up shot of Optimus Prime looking very expressive, as, you know, supposedly looking at Optimus Primal, like very confused as to, wait, what, did this robot monkey just talk? I'm pretty sure that's the kind of reaction he's having at the moment. You can see that the CGI here looks way better than the first trailer. There's still issues here and there, and I'll touch on those issues, you know, a little later down the line. But honestly, the CGI has come a long way, and I definitely do love the Autobot insignia texturing alongside his shoulders. Now in here we see like this weird artifact, I guess. I think this is a transwarp. Now, in case you guys don't know, the main MacGuffin of this movie is gonna be the transwarp keys. Things that the Terrorcons gonna wanna get their hands on, while the Autobots and Maximals are gonna try and keep them away from them. You know, typical Transformers movie stuff, get the MacGuffin. And we see that this thing is like in some kind of operating table, and we see, you know, but it looks to be a lady studying it. Now this is Elena, and you can tell because of a few context clues. Mostly you can see because it's a female character, and you can see the dark skin, it's definitely her. played by Dominique Fishback, and she looks like she's running some tests on like this ancient artifact, which causes a huge explosion. Then we see Optimus Prime looking at a beam shooting up in the sky. We don't know just yet if this is because of like a little artifact that Elena was messing with. Maybe that's the thing that brings the Terrorcons to Earth. Maybe, you know, she finds the artifact and that triggers the events of the film. That could totally be possible. And here we have Unicron, and he looks phenomenal. Honestly, this is a perfect rendition of Unicron or how he looks like. You can see that he's massive, towering over the Earth. Also, something interesting is that this is actually probably not the Earth. Because if you pay close attention, you can see that the Earth has a ring. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but if you look outside, you'll see no rings. So this is actually not the Earth, this is another planet. My guess is that Unicron will probably appear in flashback, and this, you know, the Maximals recounting like what Unicron is, or maybe Optimus or somebody else. So this is not Earth, this is some other planet, and if you pay close attention to the landmasses inside the globe right here, you can see that they don't exactly match to the Earths. We still don't exactly know where the Maximals and Predacons come from. Some of the quote-unquote leaks have mentioned that maybe they come from a beast planet, and this could be said planet. We don't know just yet, but this is not the Earth. So it's fine if this planet gets destroyed, because I mean, nobody cares about it. We didn't get a little, you know, update on like the scene where Mirage kinda, you know, kidnaps Noah. He transforms, takes him to the Autobot base, and keep in mind that there's nothing behind Noah at the moment. There's no other Autobots around. But then Optimus Prime shows up, and behind Noah we see Bumblebee and RC, meaning that Mirage is the first one to arrive and the Autobots arrive a little later, you know, later thereafter, into the transforming form of Noah. Optimus Prime is pretty pissed that Mirage got a human involved, and something you need to know about Optimus Prime in this movie is that Optimus Prime doesn't quite care for humans this time around. This is a younger Optimus Prime who hasn't spent enough time around the humans to particularly care about them. While he doesn't hate them or wish them any harm, he at the same time doesn't just precisely care. Part of Prime's arc in this movie is gonna be coming to terms with, you know, humanity seeing the good in them, and then being inspired to sort of fight for them for the next future movies. This has pretty much been stated by the director himself. Next up, we got like the Peruvian chase expanded up a bit. We see that Battletrap fires off his like tow cable anchors at Nightbird, and he uses them to drift around and shoot at the enemy. That's amazing. I love that so much. I'm so glad that we're seeing the, you know, respective, you know, Transformers use their vehicle modes in an offensive capability and in creative ways like this. This is amazing, and I want to see more of it. In here, we get a bit of an expanded scene with, you know, Scourge falling down the, you know, the hill. The CGI looks better here, and the effects definitely look better. While this doesn't expand much, you can see Scourge falling, and Nightbird is right behind him. And even some rocks hit Nightbird, which makes her fall off the cliff and she's forced to transform. And in here, we have our first clear look at Nightbird. And now that we have a close look at her, you can see that the art I made of her a while ago matches even more. The colors are actually more accurate than those of the toy and stuff like that. Because, you know, she doesn't have purple like the toys, like the concept of the pictures, but she has like this magenta-ish color. Overall, she looks really good, and I nailed her design. I got most of it right. What did I tell you? Play the music!
I am Nostradamus, the voice of God.
Now, in this scene, we can see Battletrap, Scourge, and Nightbird coming out of the water. Supposedly, this is the continuation of the first, you know, trailer, where we see all three meteors land on Earth. And here, it looks like they arrive on Earth and they already have their vehicle modes, which is very weird because, you know, this should supposedly be their first time on Earth. Now, it is possible, and people have thrown the theory that what we're seeing here is, you know, the Terrorcons in the protoform stages. Think of it like Shoutout and Dropkick in the Bumblebee movie when they were interrogating Cliffjumper. We saw them in like their Cybertronian modes, you know, they still sort of look like their vehicle modes on Earth, like how they would look like once they scan something, but they look distinct enough. It's very hard to tell if they have already scanned something by this point, or if this is just like the quote-unquote alien protoform looks. Like, for Scourge, I can definitely tell. Scourge does look like protoform-ish. Nightbird a little bit, but that's because he can't get a good look at her. And Battletrap himself looks pretty much the same. So it's, again, it's very hard to tell, but if they arrive on Earth and they already have their vehicles, then that will be a huge inconsistency, because, like, you know, that will make no sense. We then see Mirage being attacked by Cheater. This isn't the quote-unquote jungle discovery scene that we'll see at the beginning. And also, this relates back to a leak that we got from the set of Rise of the Beast a long time ago, where some people managed to hear some stage directions from Steven telling, you know, the actors more or less what's happening. One of the things that Steven said was, Cheetor pulls his claws closer to Mirage's jugular. This is gonna be the first time the Autobots meet the Maximals, and from what we know, from behind the scenes and stuff, all the Maximals will be present and all of the Autobots will be present, with the exception of Bumblebee, but we'll get to him in a bit. Here's our first, like, you know, really clear close-up look at Air Racer. I'm not gonna lie, she looks a bit off. Like, maybe it's because of like the weird techno-organic, you know, combination, the Beast Machine-esque combination. She looks very weird to me. But interestingly enough, she has yellow eyes, which, in case you don't know, all the Maximals have green eyes, but Air Racer's the only exception. Originally, I was thinking that maybe she has yellow eyes because she was possessed by the Terrorcons. Maybe she was mind controlled or something, and that's the reason why she was attacking Prime at the start of the first trailer. But here, it looks like that's just not it. It looks like yellow is just her natural eye color, which is very weird. Because all the Autobots and Maximals have consistent eye colors, with the exception being Air Racer. Unless they're pulling a Last Night in which they're hiding her true, you know, eye color through some editing tricks. This here is very strange. But she does mention that the Maximals and the Autobots need to work together in order to save the Earth. And she's voiced by Michelle Yeoh, a very reputable actress in Hollywood. Our next scene, we get to see RC, Mirage, the humans, and you know, the rest of the Autobots are supposedly not too far by. Apparently this takes place in the first time the Autobots arrived to Peru. RC is pretty small here in comparison to Mirage. She just barely, you know, gets up to Mirage's chest. And here we have Wheeljack, RC, Cheetor, and Primal. Now, Wheeljack here apparently does have his redesign, because if you look at the side of his set, it does look like he has the G1 Wheeljack ears, the ear fins. So this is the updated model for Wheeljack. I'm actually pretty happy that Wheeljack is no longer a goddamn nerd, and now he looks a bit more like the Wheeljack from, you know, the Bumblebee movie. If we could only get rid of his ugly mouth, this will be perfect. In here, we see like this spinning structure. At the beginning, I was thinking it was Unicron, and it might as well be. It could totally be. As you can see, this is gigantic. My guess is that this is literally the mouth of Unicron, you know, appearing in the sky, ready to absorb, destroy the Earth or whatever. If this really is Earth, because like I mentioned at the beginning, it looks like there's gonna be 2 Earths in this movie, or at least an Earth-like planet. And also, the context of the scene pretty much talks about Unicron, so it makes sense for this to be Unicron, you know. Our next shot is very interesting. We see Scourge kneeling in what it appears to be Unicron's base, or maybe inside Unicron. We see the Terrorcon insignia at the center of this place, and then we see what it appears to be 2 eyes opening up. Well, maybe these are really Unicron's eyes, or maybe this is just some other thing. You know, maybe just some bodily Unicron parts or whatever. But it looks like Unicron will not only make an appearance in this movie, but he will also talk, since it looks like Unicron is having an audience right now with Scourge. With Scourge. We then see Bumblebee jumping off Stratosphere into the action. My guess is that this takes place around the final battle, because we see, you know, Bumblebee take place in it. The first trailer during the first portion of the volcano showdown, we can see that all the Autobots Maximals are accounted for, with the exception of Mirage, Bumblebee, and Air Racer. And if you pause and adjust the right frame, you can see some black metal parts around his back, meaning that this Bumblebee has already gotten his off-road variant. Bumblebee's gonna have 2 modes in this film. The first one's gonna be the standard NOPV look that he's gonna have for the most majority of New York scenes, but then in Peru he's gonna be fixed up and he's gonna have, you know, the off-road variant, which is basically the same thing, just with some black metal parts here and there. And this Bumblebee seems to be just that, off-road Bumblebee. Now, interestingly enough, when Bumblebee jumps down, at the back we can see some like spheres, like, you know, pursuing after him. Here's a close look at them. They kind of look like alien bombs, and they sort of do have Stratosphere's color scheme. And by the way, Stratosphere will in fact transform into movie, thanks to some people at CinemaCon. It was pretty much confirmed that Stratosphere will in fact transform. So unlike Air Racer, we have good evidence that Stratosphere will transform, but nothing for Air Racer just yet. Here we also see that Bumblebee has this, you know, iconic plasma cannon from the BB movie bag, but not only that, he has 2 plasma cannons that he's using to destroy these, missile thingies. I don't know what these are. I don't know why he's doing this. Maybe he just wants to look cool, or maybe these are just like Unicron's antibodies, so to speak. Because we do know that Unicron's sort of gonna appear in the final battle, more or less. So it just makes sense. So that's like the only way I can justify these things that won't be attacking them, more or less. Here we have a closer look at Scourge. He looks really good. This probably takes place during the final battle or around it. He looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. He looks a little better here than in the first trailer. And of course he's being voiced by Peter Dinklage. Now it looks like they reworked the entire museum fight scene from the first trailer. This is literally the same shot from the first trailer, but it looks like it has been recut and re-edited and rearranged. Which is kinda weird because I didn't exactly see much wrong with that scene. If anything needed to really be, reworked on was the jungle discovery scene, because like that shot in the first trailer just looked awful. This one being reworked, for me, it's kind of weird. Something I noticed about this scene that's maybe different from the first trailer is that if you take a close look at Bumblebee at slow motion, you can see that he's holding Optimus Prime's Energon sword. So Optimus tries to fight Scourge, maybe he drops his sword or something, and Bumblebee picks it up and tries to stab Scourge with it, only to get stabbed himself.
Ironic.
He gets impaled much like in the first trailer, and I'm not gonna lie, this scene looks a bit off. Like, I'm not saying like that about the CGI, but I'm saying the movement. The way Scourge kind of just, turns around and swings his sword, it looks fine-ish, but Bumblebee here looks very weird, like almost like a PNG image right now. Imagine I'm grabbing this and I'm just like zooming it across the screen. It kind of looks like that. It looks weird, it looks off. But something interesting to note is that when Bumblebee gets stabbed, if you take a close look at Scourge's shoulder, you can see why it appears to be a Predacon insignia. Now this is very weird, because if you take a look at Scourge's, actual grill where he has all of his insignias, we don't see a single Predacon insignia, but here, it looks like he actually does have a Predacon insignia. He has them hidden around his body, meaning that there's more insignias around him, inside him, in other places of his vehicle mode that we never seen before. And this is the first time we are seeing a Predacon one. This scene takes place inside the museum, and in it we can see that Elena and Noah, our 2 main characters, are running away from something, an explosion. Now, according to Studio Series, this is going to be the scene where we're going to be introduced to Freezer, one of the Terrorcons, who's going to be dispatched to probably retrieve the transwarp key that Elena is currently holding. But a few days ago we had some images of, some HD images of, Noah and Elena, our 2 characters, in the Total Film magazine, and in one of them, you can see that Elena is holding the transwarp key. So it looks like Freezer's main objective here is just to find the transwarp key and give it to Scourge. Next up, we have the scene in Peru. We see some hieroglyphics. This is the quote-unquote Maximal caves that supposedly is gonna lead the way to the Maximals hideout, if some of the early production listings are to be believed. Now this scene is very interesting. This supposedly takes place in Peru, but we see where it appears to be Energon around this area. And we also see what it appears to be 3 meteors, like 4 entities. We see that there's 3 of them that are flying and they have, like white smoke coming out of them. But there's another one that's clearly, more robotic, I guess. It has wings and you can sort of make it out a bit more. I have no idea what this is all about. My guess is that this could probably be the quote-unquote Maximal planet. Like I mentioned earlier at the beginning, Unicron looks like it was, about to devour a planet that looked like Earth but wasn't really Earth. This could be, maybe the Maximal's recollection of, hey, we used to live in this planet, it was great, there was Energon everywhere, but then Unicron came. That could be a possibility. We also see a giant structure at the center of one of the mountains. I have no idea what this whole scene is about. It really confuses me, but my main theory right now is that this is not Peru, this is not Earth. This must be some kind of other planet, maybe the Maximal planet. Then we got the Autobots and Maximals assembling for battle together. This is the little clip we got yesterday, teasing if the trailer was going to come out today. In here we can see Unicron apparently devouring a planet. And I say this is a planet, and I think this is the Maximal planet, because you can see there's like cloud formations here and there. This is clearly supposed to be a landmass. And we see all this blue energy, basically coming out of the planet into Unicron. My guess is that that scene that we saw earlier was in fact the Maximal planet. And this is pretty much what happened to it. Also, Unicron looks sick here. I really do love the way he looks. This is perfect. Here we have the museum fight scene. We see Scourge, Battletrap, and Nightbird is even there too. You can see here at the very background. You can see that Bumblebee and Optimus Prime are just kind of thrown in the ground. Both of them are pretty injured, but probably more so Bumblebee. So this is shortly after, Scourge quote-unquote kills him. And then Air Razor appears and saves them. We see Elena do some dangerous parkour, and it looks like this takes place in the final battle. Because, again, the final battle takes place in a volcano, so this makes a whole lot of sense. It looks like she's trying to reach out for her bag. There might be something of critical importance for our heroes there. We see Wheeljack and RC, in this scene where supposedly they're getting shot at by Battle Trap. We can see that they have updated the scene a lot. The CGI is a whole lot crispier. We see that the explosions in the background and it gets expanded upon in comparison to the first trailer. Also, something interesting, and this is something that I neglected to mention yesterday when I made my video on the teaser for the trailer. You can see that RC's tie, the quote-unquote yoga pants, where she has the Ducati, logo branding thing. It's actually completely blurred out. This must be because of some weird licensing issues between Hasbro and the Ducati brand. We don't exactly know what it is just yet. I kind of hope that this is not the case for the movie, because if RC's leg is gonna be visibly blurred for most of the movie, then that's gonna be very annoying. Here we see Optimus, Cheetor at the background, Optimus Primal, Wheeljack, RC, and Rhinox. This takes place during the Volcano Showdown. We can see that the final battle has gone through some changes, because in the first trailer it was a very orangey type of sky with ash and stuff here and there. Here it looks a bit more grayish, The weather is cloudy and stuff, the layout of the fight's a bit different. Overall, it looks a little better though. I wouldn't have mind the way it looked like in the first trailer, but this for a final battle, I don't mind it. I think it looks good. Optimus pulls out his Energon blade, ready to fight. You can see that there's some blue highlights in there, because this Optimus Prime is taking some inspiration from the Transformers Prime Optimus. And if you look closely in the background, you can see that RC is actually fully transformed and she has her hologram driver. Which, it's kind of weird because, in this battle, there's no humans around, so who is she trying to fool? But yeah, that's cool. But in here we see Optimus Primal fighting against a Predacon. This Predacon we know to be Scorponok, and we see that Optimus Primal is actually holding one of the goons of the Terrorcon army and using them to, kind of smash this Scorponok. Like I said there was going to be multiple Scorponoks, and I was proven right once again. And if you look towards the left, you can see that Noah's there too. He has some kind of, Cybertronian armor. Kind of gives me Kicker Jones vibes from Transformers Energon. Not sure how to feel about that. We see that he's shooting these blue rounds, but who he's shooting at is even more impressive. Noah is fighting Freezer! Yeah, Freezer is actually in the trailer. This is a very blink you'll miss a moment. But you can see here that the shape of this character is very, Freezer-esque. With the legs, the multiple arms, and even the face. Here's a better look at another one. You can see that the face completely matches that of Freezer according to the toy. It's meaning that there's gonna be multiple Freezers that are gonna be fighting in the final battle. Which, in all honesty, they're probably just there to give the humans something to do, or like an antagonist to fight. In here we get a better look at the final battle. We see that there's tons of Scorponok's in vehicle mode, well I guess beast mode, fighting, I guess, in the Terrorcon army. When Optimus Primal grabs the Scorponok, it's a very hard to see type of thing, but you can see another Terrorcon. Well, I guess this is a Terrorcon. One of the Terrorcon goons kind of trying to, walk away. Well, I guess it's more like crawling. We've seen these guys in the first trailer. We still don't exactly know much about them, but this gives us a pretty good idea how big they are. They're not that big. The Scorponoks are way bigger than these guys. We see Cheetor take out one, and funnily enough, we see some Terracons, I guess. Again, it's very hard to tell which ones are Predacons and which ones are Terracons, but this one is kind of limping, as you guys can see here. If you look at his movement closely, this dude is walking with at least one leg and he's using his hands to sort of balance himself out. While RC riding Rhinox kinda shows up and kills this Terracon, then finishes off the Predacon, and we can see that RC's guns are kind of attached to her hands. They look a bit weird though, not gonna lie. But I do like that they shoot pink lasers though. That makes her stand out a bit more. Here we see Wheeljack, and here we see what it appears to be a transformed Scorponok. Now, I'm still 50-50 on whether or not the Scorponoks will transform. I got on record and said that I don't think they will. But this Scorponok here looks very green. This character right here looks very green, The Terrorcon army seems to be just full on black, and the Predacons seem to have a bit more color to them. As we know, because of the mainline Scorponok toy. Scorponok has some green accents on top of the, typical black/gray metals that we've seen from him. As I'm pausing it to get a closer look at the Terrorcon army, you can see that a bunch of them look very distinct. Some of them have, 4 arms, some of them have 2 arms, some of them have 6 eyes, and others have only 2. The Terrorcon army seems to be pretty diverse, I'm not gonna lie. Then we see RC pull out some sick moves reminiscing of Transformers Prime. And speaking of Transformers Prime, Ryutek's weapon here is just a straight up reference to Transformers Prime, where, you know, Ryutek has like this massive cannon for his primary weapon. But in this movie, it looks like he's gonna have two of them. And by through the trailer, we see Mirage hand Noah some kind of weird device that begins attaching to his arm. I'm not gonna lie, this looks an awful lot like the little talisman from the last night that Kate Jagger used, but it looks like this time around this quote-unquote talisman will actually play a major function. I think this is a thing that, like, you know, lets Noah have his quote-unquote Kicker Jones combat armor that allows him to, you know, better engage and help the Autobots. And we also see Bumblebee do some sick moves against these guys. But just as I'm making this video, we have some little bit of news. Apparently, we just got a poster revealing Scourge with Unicron behind him. Now, I mentioned, funny enough, yesterday that we were gonna get some more posters featuring Maximals and maybe one featuring Scourge. And they both turned out to be true, because just yesterday we got a few Maximal posters, and now we have a poster featuring Scourge. Also, the news just keep coming in. It looks like we also just got this new poster for Rise of the Beast. We see Unicron in the background, and it looks like the marketing was just waiting for the Unicron reveal before dropping all of these things, because I feel like the only reason why we didn't get the Scourge poster was because they were waiting for the second trailer to reveal Unicron and then to start dropping all of this. Which, fine, I understand you don't want, you don't want spoilers for the audience, but it's kind of weird. This poster, however, looks really cool. We get a new look at Bumblebee in his quote-unquote off-road variant. Doesn't look that much different, but honestly I like him quite a bit. I love the posters here are taken straight from the control art. We got a little while going from the poster art, which, you know, reusing assets is completely fine. It's something that happens. But this poster here looks pretty cool. I think Noah's face looks a bit off though. Something about it, I don't know, it just stands out so much. But now I want to take a second to talk about, well, the trailer CGI itself. The CGI has been a point of contention ever since we found out ILM was not going to be, you know, working on this movie and instead was NBC Studio. The studio that did The Lion King. And while they done a pretty alright job with this trailer, I don't know, like, we're only 1 month away from the movie and I think the shot says a lot compared to how the Bay Optimus from the first movie looks in comparison to this Optimus from the second trailer that's 1 month away from Rise of the Beast. It just doesn't compare. Like, ILM just did a much better job, and considering that the movie by this point is pretty close to completion, I don't know, like, I feel like this is gonna be the CGI we're gonna get by the end of it. I'm not saying the CGI looks bad. A lot of it is a massive improvement from the first one, but it's just not up to par with the Bay movies. Even if you hardcore really like this, you gotta admit that, yeah, in comparison to the base stuff, it just doesn't compare. But yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much all there is to say about the trailer. Some of the things I noticed on my second time viewing it. Pretty self-explanatory, again. Did I like this trailer? Well, yeah, it was pretty good. It's only when you, like, actually stop and think about the CGI and you compare it to the Bayverse where I'm like, yeah, this looks not up to par. Well, that statement aged well. Hey guys, so I swear this video is about to finish, but just as I'm recording this, well, just as I'm editing, we have some new images that were released by Empire Online. Never heard of them. We have some, like, small shots that were in the second trailer. The first one is Optimus right next to Bumblebee, and unfortunately these are not in the best quality. This is just them in New York. It looks pretty cool that I might as well share this here. And then we have this one, which is like all the Autobots, you know, well, at least most of them, about to engage the Maximals. You know, we see Cheetor, you know, holding Mirage like we saw in the trailer. RC's at the corner pointing at Cheetor, and Optimus Prime and Primal kind of, you know, in a standoff. Which, I mean, the CGI has improved a bit from the first trailer, but I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it's just because this is a still image here, and I feel like some of the shadows don't really sell that these characters are actually here. This looks so off. Maybe it's the low quality, you know, I'll give it a chance. Maybe when we see this in the movie, it will look way better. At least Optimus doesn't look as anorexic here as he did in trailer 1, so that's a plus. But, yeah. Just I thought I might as well share this, so now, time to end the video. Again, by no means I'm saying that the movie will be bad. We still don't know just yet. They have a whole month to still work on the movie. But the fact that this... I don't know, like, I feel like for 1 month, how much can they change about the movie? How much more polish can they give the CGI? I definitely do feel like the movie will suffer in the CGI department. I think NPCC just doesn't compare to ILM. ILM has always delivered. NPCC, I know it's the first time around with Transformers, and you know, don't get me wrong, this movie has a lot of CGI, and I know it's a daunting task, but they had a whole year extra to work on this movie. Remember, last year we were gonna get the movie on June, 2022. But then the movie got postponed for a whole year, so they had a whole year to work on it, and we're still at the, but we're still working on it. We still have outdated footage and stuff like that, instead of showing me the final, full finished product. But in terms of story and action, at least it looks pretty good. Battletrap working together with Nightbird to like do that maneuver was amazing. The final battle with, all the Autobots, Maximals, Predacons, and Terrorcons there is definitely a highlight of the trailer, and I think it's gonna be epic. And I really do like that the humans are contributing for once, with Noah having his exosuit, Elena kinda kickstarting the plot, Unicron being involved, and some shots do look pretty good, while others just don't look quite as good. Museum fighting! Museum fighting! But yeah, guys, that's my full breakdown of the trailer. I'm gonna make more videos talking about some other stuff that, was shown in the trailer that maybe I missed this time around, or maybe that other people found out. The Rise of the Beast hype train, aka the marketing, is finally gonna start ramping up. Not that we finally have the Unicron reveal, and I think that we're just waiting for the Unicron reveal, and now that it's finally out, we can expect, more news to drop at almost a daily basis. But we'll see about that. Tomorrow we're gonna have a live stream with Rise of the Beast trailer from Twitter. We're gonna be talking about this trailer and a bunch of things about how we feel about it. I have a lot of stuff to say. I'm sure he has a lot of simping to do, so that should be fun. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this trailer. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? And do you think the CGI looks good or CGI looks bad? I'm somewhere in the middle. Some of it looks good, but at the same time I see a lot of it that's just not up to par with the Bay films. Not even 2007, which was the first, Bay film ever. And when you put it that way, it honestly, it doesn't, fill me with confidence about the movie. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it blows us away, and hopefully, going forward, they keep polishing the CGI and to keep doing what they're doing. So this will be a great movie. But yeah, as always, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to all the annoying YouTuber stuff that the algorithm likes, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, guys. Anyways, guys, before we go, shout out to our super high IQ Patreons: Predacon Hunter Plays, Scrub Lordo, Omega Tryon 2006, Stitch Productions, Xavier the God, Anders Gears, finally he changed his name, Optination Review, James Newbold, DJ Universe, Tristan Curry, Still, Allspark Studio, Super Sailor Formers Hedgehog, Cuber Night Gaming, and oh my god, Rich Cracker 64 Studios Productions, Crazy Tracks, and King Sparta. And an even bigger shout out to our even bigger patrons, Jordan the Great and X23, who donated a amount of money. I'll leave you guys to figure out how much. And if you guys want to shout out yourselves, all you gotta do is donate to my Patreon. By donating to my Patreon, you get quite a few rewards. You get access to some exclusive artwork that I'm working on, catch some early access at some betas that are not public yet, request your own videos, or even do collabs with me. In some cases, you can even request some artwork if I'm not busy enough. I'm constantly updating the Patreon with content that I haven't made public yet, so if you want more awesome content like Wasted Potential, Power Level series, Kill Count series, that kind of stuff, Patreon is the best place to catch a glimpse at my work. But keep in mind that it is entirely optional, because freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Thank you to all my patrons for donating, it's much appreciated. All of them had channels of their own, Twitter accounts, Discord pages. Make sure to go check out their links and give them some support. They can use all the help they can get. Thank you guys for donating, it's much appreciated. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Stay safe, guys.